Welcome back, YouTube, to another episode here at Wildman Lifts. I'm your host, Wildman. Now on today's episode, you can see I have quite the setup right here. So I'm going to be doing the circus dumbbell, which is going to remain the same weight, which is 80 pounds throughout the entire strength giant set. But for this, I'm going to start small and work my way up to this weight. And if you know what it is or have a guess what it is, pause this video right now and let's play a really fun game and write in the comments how much you think this weight is with the chains on for deadlift. And I'm also going to be doing some bar facing burpees, and I'm going to run to a designated spot and back for 200 meters. And that's going to be the strength giant set for today. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it's such a beautiful day and I want to take advantage of it. So let's pop into today's workout and let's see what we can get done. So on today's strength giant set, like I said, I'm doing the circus barbell, and that weight is just going to remain the same throughout the entire movement. And then I'm going to gingerly move over to that deadlift bar, and I'm going to do 3 reps in the beginning, but eventually I'm going to work up to a 1 rep max. And then I'm going to be doing some burpees in between as well, bar facing burpees, where you jump over the bar and then you face the bar. That's why they're called bar facing burpees. It's an excellent movement for conditioning for your chest, abs, legs, and athleticism. And then I'm going to be doing a 200-meter run, where I run to a designated spot, turn around, and come back. And by the time I'm done with all the running, I should be able to do 2 miles at the end of the workout. And that's going to be the strength giant set for the day. Now, this was a very hot day. And I mean, not that hot, but hotter than it's been. We're coming out of winter and into spring. And I have some spring days that are super hot and some spring days that are super cold. So I'm going to have to be careful as I continue to work out in the bullpen. But a lot of people are asking, why am I doing a circus dumbbell on the same day as a deadlift, right? And the answer is pretty simple. The weight that I want to work up to today, if I was just doing deadlift training and doing a very minimal amount of giant set training in between, I'd be able to probably hit 2 reps with that implement. However, I don't really care for reps when it comes to chains. I'd rather focus on being tired and being fit, and then doing a weight that I know I can hit, but it usually moves pretty slow, and grinding through it. And that's why I'm doing this today. But I'm also doing burpees and running and circus dumbbell because these are great movements that improve athleticism. And because I'm doing them back to back, my conditioning is going through the roof. So then when I do get to my top set, it's going to be a little bit harder for me to pull it. But on this day, I was feeling pretty good, believe it or not. All the weight was moving very efficiently. So when I got to my second to top set and I figured the way that moved, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely got it. It might move slow, but I knew that I had it. And that's perfect because I want to make sure that when I'm training, that I'm just moving with an efficient pace to each exercise. So that way, as I'm getting up into my top weight, I'm nice and warm and the muscles that I want to use are ready and primed to go. But I'm also a little fatigued. So I'm gonna have to push a little bit harder. Even though I know I can hit that weight, I'm gonna have to push a little harder than I want to. And that's all that I wanted to do for today. And I really wanted to enjoy outside. It's been cloudy and rainy, and I've been working out in a gym setting and not outside. So when I saw that today was just a perfect day, it really wanted me just to throw on all of my favorite movements. Except for bar facing burpees. I'm really not a fan of those. But like I said, if you want to get outside and do the things that you need to do, but it's kind of a chore for you to do, then throw that in there with like 3 movements you like to do. And I enjoy running that 200 meters. I enjoy deadlifting, and I enjoy the circus dumbbell clean and press. But I'm not that big of a fan of burpees, but I know that burpees are crucial when it comes to athleticism and training. So I need to throw them in there. So it's 3 movements that I like to do, and then there's 1 movement that I'm not that fond of, but I know that I need to get it done. And that's how I kind of drown it out into my giant sets. And by the time I was done with all of this heat was really taking a toll on me. I'm not used to this. So you'll be surprised though, once we get into summer and it's like 90 to 100 degrees outside, I'll be just fine because I'm so used to training in an outside environment, and I'll be able to adapt. But this is probably day 1 of the adaptation. Now, the reason why the circus dumbbell is remaining the same weight throughout the entire strength giant set, and will also be the same weight for the variation giant set, it's because I'm not here to try to do a 3 rep max or a 1 rep max. Really, it's just about doing the movement pattern. because I'm going to have a designated day set aside alone for the overhead press. So that's going to be heavier, and if I was to do a heavy circus dumbbell, it would be on that day. But this is just kind of like a conditioning movement today, and to practice good movement patterns, just to figure out where my hands need to go, how does it feel when I'm under fatigue, and to get my heart rate up, and to also get myself ready for the deadlift as the weight is getting heavier. Which, speaking of that, I'm coming up to the set just before my top set on the deadlift. And this weight was going to determine how much weight I was actually going to put on for the day. And this moved pretty well. So I was actually kind of surprised because the heat was really getting to me. And all these conditioning moves that I'm doing in between tuckered me out. And I'm not used to the heat. So since I'm not used to that, I definitely was surprised that that moved fairly quickly. So I felt fairly comfortable moving up to, and let's see if everybody gets this weight right. It was going to be 425 pounds at the bottom of the lift, plus those 45-pound chains would have made a 470-pound lift at the top. So if you guessed 470 pounds total, you are correct. Now, more than likely, if I wasn't conditioning the way I was, I probably could have hit this for 2 reps, and it would have hurt a lot and been a grind. But this ended up being the perfect amount of weight, because look how slowly that moved, and I had to grind that out. And that's just due to the outside temperature and all these conditioning movements that I'm doing. So I was very happy with that, because I'd rather be strong and conditioned. Alrighty, so how many of you out there guessed correctly? 470 pounds total is this weight that I lifted today. Reason being, the chains are 45 pounds combined total weight. The bar is a standard barbell that's 45 pounds. The black weights are 55 pounders, and then those reds are 45 pounders. So when you add them all together, it's 425 pounds at the bottom of the lift. And when I get to the top gradually, it reaches 470 pounds. Not bad for today's workout. I was very pleased with this. And if you guessed correctly, I'm sorry, I don't have any prizes for you. I'm broke as a joke. But you get kudos, and I'm proud of you. And since it's such a beautiful day today, let's just keep working out. So we're going to go into the variation giant set. Now for the variation giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I was going to continue to do the exact same giant set format. The only thing that I was going to swap out was going to be the deadlift. But you can see off to my right and left of the viewership, I stripped away that entire bar all the way down to 155 pounds. And I just kind of wanted to go up and just see how I felt. But what I kind of noticed as I was doing this barbell row, which you'll see this is how it works. You deadlift it, you get it just below your knees, and then you just practice this rowing motion. This is a great way to build your upper back, and it's a great accessory movement for the deadlift and the continental clean and press, which you see me do. And like I said, I just continued to do the burpees, and I also continued to run that 200-meter run, just trying to keep it simple. But like I said, when I was doing the barbell row, I just started doing these again recently. And I was noticing that my back was a little fatigued just from doing all the deadlifting and everything. So as a result, I wanted to be able to do it with a 8 rep max, but I think I ended up doing like a 6 rep max because I just ended up getting into a really funky position as I was trying to do the barbell row. And the barbell row is complicated because you're not isolating anything. I mean, it's a semi-compound movement, meaning it's not something that's like judged in competitions, and it's not necessarily something that can be gauged fairly because you got to use a lot of body English. So since it is, it's just kind of there as a tool to help with all the other big lifts. So there really is no point in me trying to PR or trying to get better at this lift. It's supposed to be used as a tool, and I need to train like it is. So this isn't something that I need to be like prideful about. I need to remember that this is just something that helps me with the deadlift and not get as amped about it as I do with the other big lifts when I'm about to hit my top set. But regardless, it is something that does carry over a lot into other big lifts, so it is something to definitely throw in there. I'm just saying you don't need to be that serious about it. And there's different variations of the barbell row. You can do the pen lay row, the deadlift row. There's just a ton of variants out there for this lift. So do them all because they all help. So this is my top set for the variation lift. And this is the most I've probably rode in a long time. And I am using those straps in the belt because like I said, I was feeling a little fatigued. And I do want to carry this over into the deadlift, and I train with straps for the deadlift, so yeah, I might as well use it. But like I said, I wasn't really feeling it. My lower back was kind of just tired. Not like, a big deal. It's just sometimes I get that way when I've deadlifted a lot. And for the assistance giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I was trying to finish off my conditioning. So I would do 100 jump ropes, and that's the tail end of the 100 jump ropes. And then I'd run that 200 meter again. So I'm trying to get to a certain number for the running total. So that's why I'm doing that. And then I would just come back, but then I would just push it. I would try not to take any rest, and I would try to jump right back in and do another 100 reps of jump rope. And then for the accessory giant set, I was doing 3 rounds, and I was doing some heavy rope supination curls. And I was also doing face pulls, which you know that I love to do for shoulder health and for back mobility. And then I would also do Nordic hamstring curls. And I just like doing this to finish off my hamstrings. And since I did burpees, I want to finish off that chest a little bit with the explosive movement. Just another tool in the shed to help with weightlifting. And we're done. And let me tell you something. This is a lot harder with the heat. It was a lot of volume of work, but I'm not used to the heat. So as we get closer to summer, I'm definitely going to get used to the heat and be able to do a lot more even when it's hot outside. But this is a great start. I'm very pleased with today's workout. And thank you so much for joining me today. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.